The outdoor cafe was perfect for the early evening. Warm light filtering through trees, the gentle hum of conversation mixing with soft music. Ethan Cross stood near a table, holding his 3-year-old daughter Sophie, scanning the area for his blind date. At 37, Ethan was CEO of Cross Financial Group, managing billions in investments. He'd been a widower for 2 years, raising Sophie alone since his wife died from complications during a routine surgery. His sister had set up tonight's date after months of insisting he needed to move on with his life. A woman approached the table, and Ethan recognized her from the photo his sister had shown him. Blonde, beautiful, impeccably dressed in professional attire that suggested success and confidence. She looked at Ethan, then at Sophie, and her expression remained carefully neutral. "Ethan Cross?" she asked. "Yes, and you must be Rebecca Hamilton? I should be honest from the start. I was forced to come. My mother has been pestering me about being single for months. She set this up with your sister without really asking my permission. So I'm here because I got tired of arguing, not because I wanted to be." The blunt honesty caught Ethan off guard. Most people would have at least pretended enthusiasm. "Well, that's refreshingly direct. I don't believe in wasting people's time with false politeness. I assume your sister dragged you here too? Something like that? Though I brought Sophie, so if this goes badly, at least I get to spend the evening with her." Rebecca's eyes flicked to Sophie, who was clutching her teddy bear and watching the interaction with curious eyes. "You brought your daughter to a blind date?" "I did. Anyone who can't handle her being part of my life isn't worth getting to know. I figured we might as well find that out immediately." Something shifted in Rebecca's expression, not quite approval, but perhaps respect. "That's practical. Most single parents try to hide their children on first dates. Treat them like inconvenient secrets. Sophie isn't a secret or an inconvenience. She's the most important person in my world. If that's a problem, it's not a problem. It's actually the first intelligent thing I've heard all week." Rebecca sat down at the table. "Since we're both here under duress, we might as well make the best of it. Hi Sophie, I'm Rebecca. Is that your teddy bear?" Sophie nodded shyly. "His name is Mr. Bear. He's very brave. I can see that. He looks like an excellent companion." Over the next hour, Ethan watched Rebecca transform. Her initial coldness wasn't hostility, was protection. She was a corporate attorney, she explained, who'd spent years fighting through a male-dominated field. She'd been engaged once to a man who'd wanted her to quit her career and be more available. She'd chosen her career, so now my mother thinks I'm going to die alone because I prioritized work over marriage, Rebecca said. She sets me up on these dates with nice men who all ultimately want me to be less ambitious, less intense, less myself. I came tonight expecting the same thing. And what did you find instead? A single father who brought his daughter to a blind date and told me up front that she comes first. That's different. Honest. I appreciate honest. I appreciate someone who doesn't pretend to be someone they're not, just to make a good first impression. You said you were forced to come. That took courage. Or rudeness. Depending on perspective. Honesty, not rudeness. There's a difference. As dinner progressed, Rebecca engaged with Sophie naturally, not trying too hard, not ignoring her, just treating her like a small person worth talking to. She asked about Sophie's favorite colors and animals. She listened when Sophie told rambling stories that made little sense to adults. You're good with kids, Ethan observed. For someone who was forced to come to this date, You're being very kind to my daughter. I don't blame Sophie for her parents setting up an awkward situation. She's innocent, and honestly, she's more interesting than most of the adults I deal with. At least, she's genuinely herself. 3-year-olds don't perform. When Sophie started yawning, Ethan knew it was time to end the evening. I should get her home. Thank you for coming, even if you were forced. This was actually ... nice. Rebecca surprised him by saying, "Would you want to do this again? Without the forced element this time? An actual choice. You want a second date? I want to have coffee with someone who doesn't expect me to be anyone other than who I am. Someone who's upfront about his priorities and doesn't apologize for being a parent. That's rare. Worth exploring." Over the next months, they dated carefully. Rebecca never pretended to be naturally maternal. She was honest about not having strong parenting instincts. But she respected Ethan's relationship with Safi and never tried to compete for his attention. Ethan never asked Rebecca to be less ambitious or tone down her intensity. He appreciated her drive and intelligence. They built something based on honest acceptance, rather than trying to change each other into idealized versions. A year after their forced blind date, Ethan proposed to Rebecca at the same cafe where they'd met. Sophie, now 4, helped present the ring dot at the wedding. Rebecca gave a speech about forced beginnings and authentic endings. "A year ago, I showed up to a blind date I'd been forced to attend by my well-meaning but meddling mother. I walked up to a stranger and told him coldly that I'd been forced to come, not because I wanted to." Instead of being offended, Ethan respected the honesty. He was there with his daughter, upfront about his priorities, not apologizing for being a single father. We built a relationship on truth rather than performance. I was forced to come to that first date, but every date after that, every moment since, has been a choice. And I choose him, choose Sophie, choose the family we're building together. Sometimes, the best things start with honesty, even when that honesty sounds cold at first. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment about a time when brutal honesty led to something better than polite pretense.